Welcome back on this, what day is it? Tuesday? Tuesday, January 28th. So it's good to be alive. You know, some people didn't wake up this morning. We were fortunate enough to. So it's always a good time to be happy. Good to see you all. I'm Ron Story. I am the person with the privilege to be the head of product at SpeakerHub. And it's always good to see everybody, to be here on the daily co-working call where we talk about how to get booked on more stages, how to share your message with more people, how to monetize that message through not only being on stage, but through your products and services. We have some new people here, so we want to answer some questions, let them introduce themselves. We got the feature issue that we had yesterday that should be fixed now. At least I saw the development notes that said it was worked on. Let me confirm. Is the name update live? But looks like that was fixed at 8 a.m. this morning. So Heather should be able to pitch properly. But yeah, everything is going good. So AJ on the iPhone, you want to introduce yourself? I think you were with us yesterday, but I don't think you were able to introduce yourself. So here's your chance.
No, it's a different AJ.
Oh, that's a different AJ. How many AJs keep coming in the room?
I don't know.
You know what Ann said? That ain't the same AJ. This
The
AJ.
other one was here. He left.
He left. The other one,
He or
the other
she
one was
left.
here.
I don't know if that AJ is a woman or a man.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Well,
left.
AJ was here.
it's cool. Well, hey, we still have John Diggs. John Diggs is new. It's his first time here, so we'll let John introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. John Diggs here. Born and raised in LA, currently live in Phoenix, Arizona. I am known as a mapineering mentor, where I actually show people how to use mind maps to love and live their best life. Written several books, international best-selling author. I did a TEDx talk on YouTube. If you guys want to know a little bit about my story, and I'm just excited to be here and learn much as I possibly can to get on the stage and share my message with the world and hopefully cause and create positive change in people's lives. So thank you guys for having me, and if I can help anybody, know that I'm here to help.
Cool. No, thanks for the introduction. For those that don't know, what is a mind map?
A mind map essentially is a visual information management tool. In short, it's a diagram that would allow you to take anything that you are thinking about, goal setting, decision making, problem solving, dealing with stuff in your past, anything that's swirling in your head. A mind map is a way for you to clearly put that in perspective so you can organize it and gain greater perspective on what your next steps are and what you need to do.
Okay.
Essentially.
That's incredible. That is incredible. You know, I know we hear it, but we don't really know what it is. There's so many different types of graphs and charts and different ways to build frameworks. So I think it would be good sometime to maybe kind of talk with you privately to see if you can help us, because we're always trying to figure out how do we map out frameworks for people. How do we give people different tools to map out their speeches and their courses and their frameworks? So if that's something that you're an expert at, I would love to discuss it privately. So then we can kind of put together something for maybe 5 or 10 minutes where you can kind of show people like a simple way to demonstrate that.
I would love to do that. So just let me know when works best.
Oh yeah, that'll be cool. Good to see everybody. And there's 6 Ann McNeils here today. So you see her and her twins. It's her. Tylene Henry, nice to see you. Welcome to the SpeakerHub co-working. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, that would be great. Looks like she left as soon as I called on her.
Hello.
Oh, she's still here. Okay. All right, we can see you now. There you go. All right.
Hello, my name is Tylene Henry. I am the owner of Eugene Services LLC. We provide professional business and leadership development services. We build sustainable businesses and communities. And I also serve as the national president of the National Association of Black Women in Construction. And I invited to this call by Ms. Ann McNeil.
Okay, cool. Nice to meet you. I see you like red too. So, that must be a rule. If you're Ann's friend, you gotta wear red. So Bart, you fit right in. You fit right in,
I
Bart.
was gonna say the dead giveaway was construction in the red.
No, that's cool, man. No, that's exciting. So, but good to see everybody. Darren, good to see you back. Any questions about anything to start off before we get into talking about different things? Any questions? Any support questions? Anything that anyone needs help with? As I mentioned before, some of you I got on the issue from yesterday with the naming should have been resolved. So that should be. Hold on. No, it's in product review. Okay, hold on. It's not resolved. It's resolved, but it hasn't been reviewed. So we move that up. All right. So yeah, the code has been written. It's just going through quality assurance right now. And how's it going?
Yes, much better actually. I just want to give a revelation that I just recently have got from pitching. And that is something you said to me, gosh, weeks ago on our team about which Ann McNeil are we pitching. And it the Ann McNeil, the Black woman in construction, the professional speaker, the masterminder, whichever one of these. And so what I'm learning is to track who's reaching out to me to pitch and what do they have in common. And so my aha today is ERGs. We have had 3 or 4 that reach out to me.
Okay.
And so as a result of that, I think that the universe is telling us which Ann McNeil resonates more. So they're reaching out to me to speak to get paid about construction. So it's not the Black women in construction, not-for-profit Ann McNeil, it's the speaker Ann McNeil. And so I just want to share that, coming back to give you a follow-up from the conversations we've had about how is it that we have 1,000 pitches and it's not, the numbers are not clicking. And so that's what's starting to click in the last, I think, 4 or 5 days. We probably had 3 or 4 reaches out to us specifically.
Okay.
So
and are these the employee resource groups from what types of companies?
Construction related.
From construction companies. So
right.
With your lifetime account, you get 1,000 leads.
Okay.
So we can pull the ERG representatives from construction companies, do that list.
Perfect.
So that you
That's
can
perfect.
upload it in the leads upload page.
Perfect.
So
thank you. That's excellent.
Yep, we'll get that for you. That's included in your lifetime.
I'll send it. I have the link. I'll send it to Ann and her team right now.
Yep. If you can, Angela will send you a link to a survey that you complete in order to make a lead request. And then, so that tells us who we should go after, what sizes, what states, and what cities and what industries. And then we will pull those people. If you give us the job titles, you can put ERG president, or if it's somebody in human resources. I know different employee resource groups have different people that lead them.
Right.
So their title in the business. But yeah, let me know about that, and we'll get that for you.
Thank you.
Yep. No, that's a good report. So for those who don't know what we do, a lot of times, my calendar is always open to meet with anybody. So Ann and I and her team, we had a meeting trying to, diagnose what was happening. And I think in the last couple of days, we found a couple of things that was happening with their email account that we still need to get that fixed, right? But then at the same time, being able to target the right people. One of the great things about pitching is that if you do it enough for long enough, you will find out what you need to do and who you need to talk to. A lot of times we weren't doing enough, or we weren't doing it for a long enough period of time to actually get usable data, right? And I was I was watching a video of a young lady who she worked on building relationships with people, like partnerships in their business. And a guy was giving her some coaching, and she said, "Hey, I got 6 referral partners, and those 6 referral partners made up 40% of her revenue. Like literally 40% of her revenue came from these 6 referral partners." And the guy was like, "Oh man, how did you get these referral partners?" She was like, "Man, I reached out to a lot of people to get these 6. This was really hard, right?" And he was like, "Cool, open up your system. Let me see what you did," right? And she pulled up this list and she reached out to 30 people. He was like, "Wait, I thought you said you reached out to a lot." She was like, "You know how hard it was to find those 30 people?" And he was like, "Oh, you just don't know how to find them. But if these are your people that have sent you like 40% of your business, let's go after them. Like, let's just get you more of these, and we could double the business just by doubling your number of referral partners." And she was like, "Oh, I never thought about that." Right. But so we have to be careful of what we call a lot. Right. So in the past, we used to sell um, uh, lifetime accounts for PitchDB, the previous company, and we would sell them in low quantities, right? And what we found is that people would save them because they didn't want to. It was like, "Well, I only got 20, so I want to make sure I use them properly." We're like, "No, no, 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 no. You need to send them as fast as possible." But they wanted to protect the 20 to make sure that their 20 pitches were perfect, which avoided them from getting anything because they should have just sent more than that because they thought 20 was too much. Versus now we have people that are on 1,000 pitch a month plans, right? And they're sending 1,000 pitches a month. And they're following up with them. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. 10 doesn't sound like a lot compared to this person sending 100 a day or something like that. So we have to be careful that about what we set as our own personal limits, because that could be the box that holds you back, because you put a governor. You remember, I don't know if y'all remember this, but my uncle used to have an old Buick, and it had on the miles per hour thing, it said like 120, but right around 80, it had this little pin that stuck in there where the thing wouldn't go past the pin. And I'm like, "Why they got that thing that stop your thing?" I'm like, "Uncle, you always be on that little pin." He was speeding, right? But that was a governor that prevented him from going faster. Sometimes we put governors. Oh, Bonnie had that Buick. That's dope. Diamond in the back, sun rooftop, kick in the seat with the gangster lead, right? But that governor. Oh, there it is. Tylee know what we're talking about. This is it. This like a family reunion over here, man. This is cool. But that governor sometimes is self-imposed, right? And we clip our own wings sometimes because of a little bit of self-doubt or unassurance about what's going to happen. But in reality, I mean, I want to give Ed's team a high five for, even with some of the technical issues and trying to figure out which topic fit, they just kept pitching, right? I think they were like 600 and some pitches in, and they had only gotten like 3 responses. And I'm like, well, let's talk about that. So how can we fix it? Because that's not normal. But they just kept going. And now we're starting to figure it out for them. And it's just a great a great analogy of how just power your way through it and things work out. And what was that face for? What was said in the?
I'm having conversations with Michelle. She just told me that they just booked another podcast. Sorry, we're back here in the chat solving problems.
I was about to say, what? I'm like, I don't see that. Okay. They have private conversations. Ange talks with her face. She may not use any words, but she can't hide nothing. Like her facial expressions tell everything. I'll be like, Ange, what conversation are you having? But okay, sorry about that. So any other celebrations, high fives for anyone who's gotten booked or has gotten
my
responses?
Toronto podcast yesterday went fabulous. the recording, and it's kind of nice when he said, "I could talk to you all day." It's kind of nice, because you're thinking most of them would, you're thinking, what if he's bored after my 10 minutes? But it just went on, and I could see because they recorded, on video, but of course, and I could see him getting aha and making notes. And kind of feel proud when he's sitting down there making notes as fast as he can. So that was nice. Yesterday, I sent out some pictures, some podcasts in Toronto, and I was laughing. That one I probably wasted, but Ben Mulrooney is the son of a former prime minister, has a podcast. I said, I'm going to pitch him. I'm going to follow up to him. But anyway, I got, from that few, and I didn't even send a lot yesterday because I was so worried about this podcast I was on. You're in your hometown and you want to make sure, you're doing it, whatever, right? And I got late last night and booked on Thursday to have a 15-minute chat before the interview again from the ones I said yesterday, and some that I haven't even answered. They're, let me know and kind of thing. And it's just I probably sent out 10 yesterday, but I ended up getting one booked already, and 2 others want to speak to me about, I go back and forth between Toronto and all that. And this was the only one I had in Toronto, which is cool time. And this man is a big deal in Toronto. He's been in the company at Yonge Street for 30 years. I think I told you guys. He's everything. He's like a rocker. He's everything. But it was kind of nice in the end. He says, Jasmine, I can talk to you. And then he said, would you mind if I invite you on another time? In the back of my head, I'm saying, I hope you pay me for that one.
Well, the cool thing is that even though most podcasts are remote, if you can do localized podcasts where you can show up in person, that's a really cool experience. I remember this guy, he had invited me on a digital nomad podcast since I lived in Colombia, and Liliana on our team had booked me this call with him. And when I get to talking to him, he's like, "Oh man, what part of the world you in?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm in Medellin." He was like, "Yo, I live in Medellin." So he ended up coming to my house, and we recorded the podcast at my house because he didn't have a podcast studio. He was just so used to doing them virtually over Zoom, but he thought it would be stupid if we both live in the same city to do something over Zoom. So we ended up setting up a mock studio at my house and just recorded them at my house. And I think we talked for maybe 2 hours, and we ended up becoming really good friends. And we now have a group meeting that we do on Saturdays with about 20 other entrepreneurs from around the country. But it started with that one group, like that one meeting that we just didn't know what it was going to turn into. So you just never know what it's going to be. Local podcasts are dope if you can get them done. On-site podcasts are really cool. Bart, what's up? And then Rain.
Yeah, I just finished the podcast here like about 15 minutes before this started, and it came through like my first 10, 20 pitches back in November. Happened that fast. So that's when I said, okay, Ron and Angela might be cool after all. Anyway, but the reason I'm speaking about it is because I went today to listen to it. I really don't listen to them. I look for 2 or 3 keywords and then I hit pitch. So it really didn't align. But here's my thing. I think the security and the work of what I do aligns with everybody. The worst they can say is it's not a fit, but then you got to tell me that, because my mind says it's a fit if we're saving lives. But they said that in the podcast. This is not what we usually do at all, but we felt that our audience would benefit from it, and that's why we did it. So we will follow up, kind of like Jasmine said, we'll follow up, a few more podcasts, down the road, just to see how the landscape of these attacks are happening throughout the world. So I just wanted to share that.
No, I think that's a big deal. I'm a firm believer that if you know your stuff fits, it's your job to convince them, right? They may not have the vision that you have. They don't have the expertise and the perspective that you have. A lot of speakers come to us and they've never thought about using podcasts as a way to get their messaging out. It's my responsibility to teach them how to use it and how to use it to promote their message and their courses and their trainings and their other products. It's not their responsibility. We have the product to sell, which is our message, right? So it's up to us. It's our responsibility to demonstrate our value to the world, even when they don't see it, right? So don't ever be, don't ever feel like, hey, well, they don't get it. Well, I'm gonna make them get it. They gonna get it when they done with me, right? They may tell me no, but they ain't gonna never say it don't fit because we have more expertise than what they have, right? Nobody on this call knows more about Bart's topic than Bart, right? Nobody knows about the MAP process that Kevin uses more than Kevin. John knows mind mapping, right? Erica, she's doing an AI talk in a couple weeks. Ain't nobody about to argue with Erica about AI stuff. Just let her do it. She's worked in big tech at all the big companies, right? Cool. Like, I trust you, right? But we have to believe it sometimes. Nobody's going to argue with Ann about construction. But there's some perspectives about Black women in construction that she can provide that none of us can. And I think that, it's our responsibility to introduce our topics to the world because that's our unique perspective is where the value is, right? So, Arain, you had your hand up?
Yes, I did. Good afternoon, everyone. Yesterday, I received a message on my SpeakerHub profile. I guess someone came across my profile. They're looking for a speaker for an economic development tour that they have that they're working on. So they booked a meeting with me today. So just kind of wanted to share that. That was the first time I experienced that.
And people tell us that the speaker profiles don't work. I don't think you all understand how many people every day come in and look at those profiles. To put it in perspective, we have right around, I think somewhere close to 20,000 unique visitors on a daily basis, and about 230,000 unique visitors to SpeakerHub on a monthly basis. So when you think about that, only about maybe 15 to 20% go to the homepage because they're looking to, because they are a speaker. The rest of them are looking for speakers, right? So when we turn on Speaker Insight, for those who are a part of the Lifetime program, so I'll show you how to get that while we're on this call today. You'll get to see how many people are actually visiting your site that aren't logged in. Now, this person must have been logged in for Arain to see that because if they sent them a message. But there are a lot of people who visit your site that never log in, right? And we can see that they looked at you and 5 other speakers. But if those other speakers don't have Speaker Insight, they'll never know because we'll just send it to you because that's part of the product that part of the services that you have with us. So, Arain, high five, man. That's a big deal. Hopefully you get it. You get to knock that down. You said it was a tour. Are they doing multiple stops?
Yeah, they have several different cities.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. That's a big deal. I think someone else had their hand up, but then we'll go back to Jasmine. Was there someone else? And then we'll get Curtis to introduce himself. Someone else had their hand up for a second before I went to Arain. Okay, Jasmine, go ahead.
Quickly, just in expanding on and some of the things you said, because on the podcast yesterday after he finished recording, and he says, no, we're stopping recorded, but if you staying back for a couple of minutes, and he asked me some question, like poking, he says, well, let me ask you something. Would you prefer doing a lot of stuff here in the city or travel? I said, a little bit of both. I like the exposure of both. And, so he was kind of, you could see his mind already working as how he can utilize me. So just for everyone that's listening on the podcast who's saying, man, I'm not getting paid. I mean, you're getting paid because this is major advertising, major, stuff. I had somebody before I was even properly in SpeakerHub, so they came across me, on SpeakerHub. And I'm going, Speaker, I just started speaking with you and fine tuning my page. And, he's been chasing on LinkedIn. He wants me to do a video for his company, for his thing, and I'm going to eventually do it. But he came across on SpeakerHub and he shocked me. He really shocked me. And the reason I hesitated and says that I'm going to do it, because he's doing something that is not properly, I think, aligned with what I'm aligning with. But I've had several conversations with him, and I've decided that I've recorded the video for him. Let's put it that way. But just to show you that, you know, if we're not getting paid, here's this person yesterday is trying to think in his mind. He says, I know you're highly qualified. I went on your webpage and I see who you're associated with. And then he goes, wasn't Ty Domi, the hockey player, the hockey great, was a part of with Lennox as well? I didn't even bring up Ty Domi. So he's digging to see how he can utilize me. So that's how you talk about you can do your podcast because you get advertising, you get paid, and you build your business. So I just want to let everyone who is on know that I'm in the system. I'm seeing the system work very well for me.
No, that's a big deal. And guys, we have 63,000 speakers with profiles. What we don't tell you is that we got 8,000 organizers, right? And in this last 6 months, we understand that if we don't get the speakers part right, the organizers won't use it. So our big initiative for second quarter, once we make the transition of the new SpeakerHub pages and all of those things, is to focus only on the organizers. So then now, instead of looking all around and having to go to LinkedIn, they treat SpeakerHub as the LinkedIn for finding speakers, right? So there's this next stage that we're working on product-wise that will be more centered on the organizers, where the AI is matching you to the organizer speaking gig in SpeakerHub Pro. That's why we have that experts tab there. That's, I don't know where that echo came from, but that's where that expert tab is there, because it will be matching you to the speakers, to the organizers' profiles, which is a separate part that we're still developing. But that's the idea. So just bear with us. You're gonna be all right. I promise you. You are gonna be all right. So let's have Cardis introduce himself, and then we'll go to Darren.
Yeah, so my name is Curtis Best. I have an organization called Impulse Leadership, and we basically go to different organizations and businesses and teach them how to run more effective teams. I've really started this for youth, just learning about leadership, and then I'm talking about that on like teaching our next generation key leadership skills. And I'm just going full all in with public speaking and motivational speaking here recently, so that I could do it as a full-time gig. So that's a little bit about me. I'm from the tech industry, graduated with a STEM degree and what have you, and then trying to build off that to learn about AI, teach about AI, and teach about leadership as well, and how businesses can leverage AI in their day-to-day operation.
No, that's pretty cool, man. A lot of people need your help. It's a hot topic, especially what China's doing. You know, China tricked OpenAI into teaching it everything for $5 million. It's such a, well, man, that was incredible. I read that article yesterday. I'm like, holy crap, these people are genius.
Petty. That's the pay to be a genius, Petty. I'm trying to tell you.
So we got another AJ. If we get another person named AJ that joined this room that ain't the AJ that I think it is, no, I'm just kidding. We got 6 AJs in the room today. All right. So someone else had a question. Darren, what's going on?
Yeah. Hello to everybody. I was inquiring about what Rain spoke about. So I have my SpeakerHub profile up, and I looked at my dashboard, right? So have you guys done any past trainings on being able to understand what the dashboard looks like and the statistics and messages, applications, invitations? Have you guys talked about that?
Yep. So we haven't. And the reason being is that in the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll be introducing the new one. Like, we're transitioning off of that old system into the new one. We have a team member that we just hired 3 weeks ago by the name of Gustavo, who's heading that project. He actually did a demo of it yesterday to our team for the first time, where we could see. So basically, your SpeakerHub profile will be not only for your speaking, but you'll be able to have your courses, your trainings, your consulting, all of that will be able to be live in your speaker profile so that, and here's the logic. We probably have more people that visit our site looking for you than what you have visiting your personal site. And that's not an insult. Let me give you a better example of this. I have more people that seek me out on LinkedIn than come to ronstoryjr.com. That doesn't mean that my more event planners will come to SpeakerHub looking for speakers than will come to your site. Does that make sense? So we want to make sure that when they come there, they can, if someone wants to buy a training from you, if they want to watch a training that you may have done, right? If you want to be able to capture leads and have it where basically it's a hub that's driving traffic for you. And for the great courses that we would love to partner with you to promote that to our users. We have 62,000 people in our LinkedIn group. We got another 63,000 people that are speakers. So if you have a leadership course or some type of training that would work, why shouldn't we partner together to be able to help you to market that course? Right. So, but that's the transition that's going through. You may have noticed we've rebranded it the speaker page, right? So we're just step by step making that transition over the next 2 to 3 months. Yeah, I wish I could show you all like what we have in store, but it is freaking incredible. Here's one of the biggest things that I like about this, right? So imagine if Bart, or let's use Orain. Imagine if Orain knows that at that conference, they're looking for 3 other speakers on top. He didn't already lined up his spot, but they're looking for speakers for 3 other topics that he can't cover. Wouldn't it be great if he could just post that in the feed and you could see it like a news feed on LinkedIn or something like that? Wouldn't it be cool if he could just send that to you in the DMs on SpeakerHub? We have that. Like Gustavo is building that right now where you'll be able to talk to your other cohorts, your other speakers within that community about speaker stuff. Does that make sense? So imagine you having a gig, or Lethea is like, hey, I'm going to Dubai. I need someone to train on this. If you want to come to Dubai, and she knows Jasmine's going to do wellness and they're going to be over there for a week, so they're going to need to work out anyway. So Jasmine, why don't you come on over and do a wellness hour for us every morning, right? And then, but do you see what I mean? Like we need to network more.
I'm on it. Let's see it. I'm on it.
Perfect. Exactly. Right. So right now, we as speakers, we kind of operate in silos. And a lot of times when I talk with folks, it's in their hearts, they want to help other speakers, but in their wallets, they're like, I got to protect myself first. Right. They're like, let me get the gig. And then if they have an extra spot, I'll tell them. Right. But if there's that more of a networking opportunity, I think Frank Kitchen was a great example of that. Frank Kitchen came on maybe 2 months ago and he was like, look, anybody talk on this? Because I got an opportunity, but I can't go. I can make the introduction for you. Last week, I think AJ sent Bart something, an opportunity on LinkedIn. I don't know if it materialized, but that's the type of networking that I think is valuable for the community and the mission of what we're all trying to accomplish, right? Because it doesn't hurt me to give somebody something that I'm not going to use. Does that make sense? So the live feed will be part of the new SpeakerHub along with private DMs where you can have conversations with other speakers. Here's the one thing that we're going to implement though. You will be able to report people that are just trying to pitch you and trying to sell you something. This will not be some goofy platform where, hey, come to my webinar and buy my $85,000 car. No, we're not doing that, right? So you'll be able to report, hey, this knucklehead is spamming people, right? So that we can turn off their ability to talk to folks, right? So just letting you know, this is the future and where we're going. And it's an exciting time. And when you combine that with all the other things that we're doing, this will be a home for speakers. The best speakers are and always will be using SpeakerHub. So anyone new in here? Isaac. Do we know Isaac? Isaac, did you introduce yourself yesterday? Oh, it's Isaac. Okay, I remember Isaac. Okay, he was on with us the other day. Okay, I have to remember his face. When I don't see the last name, I'll be wondering if it's somebody we've already talked to. So, but good to see everyone. Anyone else here that's new that I don't recognize? I think Carter's already introduced himself. Lethea, good to see you. Lethea, she must be in the warm someplace. She ain't no snow, and they got flowers. Like she must be somewhere where it's hot.
Florida, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay, all right. All right. I'm like, I don't see no snow, man. It was snowing in Jacksonville the other day, you know?
My sister's in West Palm Beach, Lethea. My sister. Yeah.
So any other questions, comments, concerns, ideas?
Ron, Juliana is on the call, and she's open to talking about websites and speaker websites. It's something we had discussed. So,
okay. So does anybody want to do? Let's do this. Anybody want to do a website review, like your personal speaker website review? We'll give you some feedback, kind of like a little hot seat. We ain't gonna tear you down in front of everybody. We'll help you.
I would like to.
Darren, okay, all right, we'll do Darren and then Lethea. That'll be cool. So, I know Lethea went through a new rebrand a couple months ago, so I'm curious to see what her new site looks like. Darren, so go ahead.
It looks good, by the way, Lethea. Yes.
All right, Darren, if you want to put your web address in the chat.
Yes, sir. Let me find it on my. You talk about my SpeakerHub one, right?
No, your regular webpage. You can do either one, whichever one you want us to review. It doesn't matter. I'll look at both of them.
All right. Well, I actually did what you showed once before and put the SpeakerHub on my website.
Okay, perfect.
So you can let me know if I put in a good spot. There you go.
All right, so let's see. All right, got the Darren Franklin open. And
Great.
All right. Cool. So, Juliana, I'll let you go, and then I'll just add some feedback to what you're gonna. Here, I'm gonna give you control, so you can move the website however you would like.
Okay. Let's
One
see
second here.
All
right, so you should have control over my screen, so you can move it around.
Okay. I think I do.
Yep, that's you. It's not me.
There I am. Okay. Great. So can we have also Lethea's opening a?
Well, let's do one at a time first. We'll do the next one.
Okay. So Darren's website. Right. Okay, so some things about this first piece. So the great thing about having a speaker website is that you can target it directly to the event planners and hosts. So what you have to think about it on that first, let's say, screenshot, or that first placement of your website is, what are they looking for really? So something I tell all speakers I've worked with in the past regarding event planners is, if you were an event planner, you would want a speaker who can handle an audience, right? So that's one key thing that you can keep in mind. So it's great that you have a video, that's always necessary, like a demo reel and showing that experience. But a way it could be even better is just tweaking up the thumbnail a little. If you have, for instance, a picture where it shows you and the audience, just tweaking that thumbnail can be very helpful, because they then know that you're not scared to be in front of a lot of people. So that's a small piece of advice that I would give to this website in terms of marketing and that credibility building. Also, for the F42 Empowerment Experience naming, I think it's interesting because you can pique curiosity since it looks like a product, like a branded name. But at the same time, nobody knows exactly what it is. Like maybe some people in the niche will know it, but in general terms, when an event planner who, by the way, event planners tend to be my age and women. So you can think about that from that perspective. Like, what if a millennial woman looked at the website? What would she want to see there? So yeah, just having some tagline that helps them understand what the F42 empowerment experience is all about, who you help and how you help them, that would be extremely helpful for an event planner. There are some other technical things that you could enhance, for instance, making the menu a little shorter so that you can see more of the hero image or the hero video and headline. But those are more technical things like design-wise. But in terms of the actual content, as an event planner, I would love to know who you help, how you help them, and if you're up for the job, like if you can handle an audience. That would be like the biggest piece of advice I would give from this first snapshot. Something you can also add in this first snapshot are social proof items. So for instance, some speakers use awards they've received. Some other speakers use logos of the companies or events they've been at. But just having a section right on the top, it can be a small one, that shows that you have the experience also helps a lot with that credibility. So I know you have the testimonials here, which is great, but many event planners just open this first page, read the headliner, see if you have the experience, they give it 1-2 minutes, and they go for the next. So this is the place where I would focus all my effort in, because this is like I would say 60 to 80% of everything that matters in your brand happens in this headline. So everything else is complementary, yes, helpful, testimonials about Course Connect, tools you have, and more pictures, everything else below. Like for instance, you do have a clients list here. Also, you can think about, and this depends, of course, in every speaker, but you can think about the different verticals you've helped. So if you have experience in speaking in different industries, definitely share that, because from this one, I see mostly educational, like universities, high schools. But if you have other verticals, such as, yeah, I don't know, anything other than educational can be very, very helpful, so that an event planner who is not from an educational background knows that you can also handle that kind of audience. So general advice for every speaker: when Ron and when we say keep it generic, we don't mean don't keep your personality. What we mean by keeping it generic is that you can talk to different audiences. So it's showing that experience, using a headline that is understandable even by a 7-year-old, because it's broad enough so that you can connect with them. And same with the testimonials, same with the logos you show. That's why some lean, of course, if they have that experience, to show in Fortune 500s. But it's not just Fortune 500s that matter. You can start building experience in smaller companies that are from different verticals, and that already shows that you have a broad audience there. So that's great to have. And yeah, I would also suggest, since you already have a video on top, here you can do something that is quicker to read for an event planner, that is just has like 5 minutes to review each speaker. So maybe just having one main demo reel and then just laying out particular pieces of your brand and of the experience you deliver that can be easily digested by a millennial event planner. yeah, that would be my general advice. The rest are more technical design tweaks, but it's a combination of both things.
Okay, no, that's great. So I want to bring up something really quickly. I'm going to take over control here, Juliana, and I'm going to share a guidebook. I teach a class for the Ohio Minority Business Center every year, OMDSC or something like that. I teach this like every 2 months. It's one of my little regular $500 speaking gigs. OMD something. I can't think of the name of it, but I want to share this with you because this is a slideshow that I do with them that I think you all would love. And I'm going to go through some of the basics because anybody can take this and apply what we talk about and what Juliana was just talking about. OMSDC is what it's called. What they were talking about, and then you can apply it directly to your own site. So let me bring this up here, and then you'll be able to see it. Here it is here. And I'll share this link with everyone, all right? So let me open it up here, and you will see it in 1 second. All right, here we go. And then we'll get to Lethius. So if you think of your website kind of like a house, right? And Bonnie, you have a question really quickly, or?
Really quick, Juliana, thank you. When you're talking about like on Darren's, where he was showing high schools that he had spoken from, and you're saying, expanding companies and stuff that you connect with, put their logos on there. Is it worth it to put logos of podcasts I'm all over the place as far as the diversity of people I've spoken with. Should we put the logo of podcasts that we've been on that page? Thank you.
Yes, you should. And I'll walk you through why you should do that. Not only should you put the logo, but the great thing about the podcast, you can make that logo clickable so that they can go listen to you, right? So yes, put the podcast there because you need people to be able to try you out. So I'm going to walk through this quick analogy, and it'll kind of give you a great example of, I like to use home building as a great way to do it, right? So if you went to someone's house, let's say I'm going to go to 2029 Trindley, right? The only way someone knows to come to my house is because I probably invited them. I gave them my address. No different than if I gave them ronstoryjr.com. Does that make sense? They didn't get there by mistake. So when they land at my house, I don't introduce myself when they get there. I don't say, hey guys, you're at Ron's house. They know they're at Ron's house. So I don't need to say, hi, I'm Darren Franklin. They went to darrenfranklin.com. Does that make sense? So the same way that you don't have to plaster the numbers 2029 across the side of your house, your logo don't have to be that big. It just needs to be up in the corner so we know we're at the right house. You know how your little letters on your house is just big enough to see it from the cars driving by? Your logo should just be big enough for people to know that they're at the right spot, right? And then here's the thing, Darren, let's use you again. If you could answer this question. So now I know I'm in the right place. If I knocked on your door after you invited me over, you told me to stop by, what's the first thing that you would do when you open the door?
Ask you how you doing and come in.
Yeah, you would say, hey, Ron, good to see you, right?
Yeah.
But on yours, you reintroduced yourself and you didn't really provide me of anything of value.
All right.
Right? So whenever you go to someone's site and you think about it, let me go back to the analogy here. When you go to our PitchDB site, we tell you exactly what you're going to get. Hey, welcome to PitchDB. We got everything you need to share your perspective with the world. So you notice I didn't say the speaker flywheel because you don't know what that is yet. So it's like saying the F42. We don't know what that is. Tell me what that is, and then tell me why you call it that later. So if F42 is your leadership, everything you need to be a better leader for high schools, everything you need to be a better educator, everything you need to be a better whatever, put that right up front. I don't need to think about it. I can't guess. I got 18 seconds at the most, probably, right? I'm gonna click around, see if I can find what I'm looking for. If you can't communicate that there, they're gonna doubt if you can communicate it on the stage. This is the first impression. Does that make sense? So your first impression with an event planner or anyone else needs to be that I'm a clear communicator. Yeah. Yeah, right? So when you think about it, when you come to our page, you see it directly up front. Here's what we do. And then Darren, hey Ron, you welcome me to your house. What's the next thing you're gonna do?
Come on in, man. Have a seat.
Yep, come on in. And then I had a seat. What you gonna do next?
I'm gonna ask you if you want something to drink or eat.
There you go. There it is, right? Look what I got right here. You want a free trial? That's my cup of water. I'm offering you a glass of Coke. Right there, right on the front. Hey, come on in, man. Can I get you something to drink? Tea, a coffee, a Gatorade, a Red Bull, whatever. But I got to ask them right there. You notice you don't have that. You got a video. You said, hey, I'm Darren. Watch me dance. That's basically what your site says because you say your name, then you say, watch my video. You see the difference?
Yeah.
This one is all about the person that I'm welcoming in to make comfortable at my house versus say, hey, I'm Darren. I do this. Watch me do my Michael Jackson dance. I'm Darren. They know you're Darren by putting the Darren in the corner, not F42 experience. They went to DarrenFranklin.com. So you need to get that. You see, I got that little Ron story. You need to get a little Darren Franklin over in the corner so they know they're at Darren Franklin because F42 won't be your only framework. The longer you're a speaker, you will develop 5, 10, 15 different frameworks. Does that make sense? Is that fair? Or I'm not bullying you. I want to make sure you understand, right?
No, that's why I asked for the feedback. You good?
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure. I know I get these emails, man. After this call, somebody gonna email me saying, man, you ain't have to talk to Darren like that. And I'm like, dude, Darren wasn't offended. Why you offended? You know? So I don't want none of your protectors to come trying to fight me. All right. But your name in the corner is the logo. Welcome me in, offer me something to drink. Right? So that's what we talk about, right? So got to give them a hero's welcome. So now let's talk about the visual design. You can have fancy design things, but let me give you ever been to somebody's house and it's a nice place, but it just don't feel right? You'd be like, man, this place is nice, but they got this old bull crap in the back, you know? Like, y'all remember 2 months ago, I ain't have no furniture, right? And my paintings were still wrapped up in the plastic along the side, right? But every day I add a little thing, like I added that lamp back there, right? You know how long I looked for lamps just to find one that would be all right in the corner over there? Like little bitty things have a huge impact on the impression and the visual appeal that you're going to give to people. For $50, anybody on here can go on Fiverr and get an interior designer for their website. Okay, so if you're using ClickFunnels or Wix or Squarespace, anything like that, let me share it with you. Over here, what did you build your site on, Darren?
Oh, I did it on Squarespace.
Okay, watch this. Let me show you what you can do over here on this thing. You can type in Squarespace website design. And for what the heck? I don't want to do nothing. I gotta sign in. Y'all tripping. Okay, right? But you can see on here, you can get somebody from Squarespace that has designed websites, right? You can even do speaker website in Fiverr, and somebody will come in and redesign your website. But I would probably do some with Squarespace to make sure that it's, you know, that they know the platform that you're using, right? But you see that for less than $100, you can have that interior designer come in and feng shui your website so that it's balanced and it looks right and it gives that first impression. There's nothing like having $1 million message with a $10 design. Everybody has seen somebody with some nice shoes on, they got mud on. You're like, dude, if you shine them shoes up, if somebody taught you how to tie that tie, dude got on a dope suit and the tie all crooked. You like, bruh, they ain't teach you how to tie a Windsor knot. Like, who's your daddy? Right. Your dad never taught you how to tie a tie, bro. But that's the difference. It makes a huge difference in the first impression, right? So that small $50 or $100 investment just in the design can make a huge difference on how people see you. So let's go back here. So that's the one thing. You got to get the landscaping and stuff done right. You ain't got to spend $1 million, but you got to get it into the right spaces. The next thing is the hallway. The hallway is your navigation menu. It was great, but it was too wide. It took up 25% of the page. So you want to narrow that hallway. Imagine you would have, you're like, man, you got this big old hallway, man. You could have used part of that and put another bathroom downstairs. Everybody done said that about somebody's house before. We got all these new designs. Same thing with your menus. You don't want them to be too large, right? Where they're taking up most of your page, right? The other thing is, how do you know the difference between someone's real house and an Airbnb? Photos. They ain't got no photos of their kids up. They in the Airbnb player. They lying to y'all. It ain't his house. It's MTV Cribs. He rented that, right? So on your site, you got to put up photos so that people know you have friends, right? We got to know that other people trust you already. That's what those logos. Right now, you have the logos of the schools, but as you do more associations, you can start putting some different corporate and business style logos up so that it doesn't show that you're speaking at schools all the time. That's where your podcast and all those other things go. Is that fair? Right? Is this analogy helpful?
Yeah, I guess the question I have was like, I have other different logos, but I guess I need to diversify.
Yeah,
But you have to press the thing and I go too far over to see them.
Yeah, they're just too big, right?
All right.
So let me give you an example. Let's go back to Chrome, and I'll go to a web page. If you see here, we'll use our own because we follow our own design principles. As you can see, we welcome you in. We tell you what you get. We offer you a free account. We show you some of our friends, right? Then we retell you what you can expect, and then we show you some of our big buddies, our bigger friends that we play along with, right? And then as we go down, we tell you what some of our friends had to say. And then we show you a video, but we're following the same basic principle. You notice our logo ain't taking up half of the screen and the menu only takes up about 8% of the screen here at the top, right? You see how we follow those same design principles here, right? But you gotta have those personal photos. The next part is the backyard. How do people find your resources? I saw you had testimonials and all of those. You can bring the testimonials to the front page, but your blogs and resources, that was good to have that, right? The kitchen, this is where you get support, where you can nurture the people. Hey, come to your call. You notice we got the kitchen. You can see our kitchen up front. We offer you food and drink. Come on over here, come to co-working. Right? And then there was the pop-up that, I don't know if you saw that pop-up that Maria put that says, we live right now. You smell the food? Can you smell what the Rock is cooking? We put that right at the bottom. It was a little thing that was there that I clicked off. But we got support. You got to have a way for people to reach out to you. People are used to these little bots, so we start putting them on our site, even though I hate them. I had to offer support so that people know that we're here to help them. Now, this is kind of a crude example, but it's the best way to explain it. Most of the time when people come to your house, they stay on the first level if you got a 2-level house. All the personal business happened upstairs, right? So at first, they're just looking around, getting comfortable, right? But don't be afraid to ask them to take the next level in the relationship, so to speak, if you understand what I mean. You got to ask them to become clients. Hey, maybe you're not go upstairs today, but someday I want to take you upstairs. It's kind of what you were saying to them. I want you to become a client. I don't just want you looking around. I want you to become a client. Now, I don't know where y'all minds went, but I was talking about a client relationship. Now, Kevin and Erica, I don't know what y'all thinking about, but sometimes you want to take the client relationship to another level. So that's what we're talking about there. Does that make sense? Is that a great analogy? Should I share that slideshow with y'all? Boy, I know what I'm talking about. Look, I got kids. I
You
done took
always
the
got great
proof.
analogies, Ron.
I mean, I can too. I'm just
I
saying.
got proof. I got proof.
I think that if you share the slides, that way we can help. That way we can.
So here I'm going to put the slide deck in the chat here for you guys.
So Ron, let me
also
ask you this: when I go to ask the person to fix the website for me, right? I want to be able to share with them. Hey, I want to kind of design it in a analogy of a house that I heard this type of thing. So I want to make sure that I get better than what I have already done doing it myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that they have already designed websites.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because a lot of times we'll be like, "Oh yeah, I can design it for you." They ain't never designed a good website before. They wasted your time, and money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So let me see if I can. I'm trying to get the link, and it won't. 1 second here. Current location, my drive.
In the chat, Juliana also posted another resource about speaker websites as well.
Yep.
That our team created.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here I'm just gonna put this in the chat. If it opens, high five. If it don't, I'll figure out how to get it to y'all somehow, some other way. Let me know if this opens. It's a mail attachment. Oh no, it ain't gonna open. It's giving me too many letters. Okay.
Yeah, I just shared a quick one also, Ron, that is helpful because it's directly for speaker homepages. So that is
okay. Yeah. But I'll get this downloaded somehow. Somehow I can't find it in my drive. OMDS, it ain't coming up. Oh, here it is. Website home analogy. Got it. Bam. All right. So, and I'm going to give you the one with the notes on it so you'll know exactly what I'm talking about here. All right. 1 moment. And then we'll go look at Lethia's website. So guys, we're 5 minutes over our regular time here. And let me make sure I ain't got another meeting. Yep, I got time. So in the chat, I just put in the chat the link to the Google Doc with my explanations also. So not only is it my chart, but it's my slides and the notes so that you know what to fix and what section is what. All right. But no, thanks, Juliana. Great review on that. Darren, you're on the right path, man. It's just, oh, look at old fancy Lethea. That joint, she got the little ghost photos and everything. Lethea fancy.
I told you.
I was waiting on her AI avatar to start talking.
Looks fire.
It's fire. It is.
Right. So
the whole thing.
No, this is the perfect segue because I haven't seen Lethea's website, but a lot of the things we talked about, she's doing. You notice she didn't change the logo to not match the website. It's letheaowens.com. So she got a Lethea logo, right? And then it has her photo, so we know it's her. She got her Oyster Perpetual. Shoot. Let me stop picking on her watch. That's an incredible Rolex. Game changes every day. She's very clear about what she does, right? Very clear. And she has her certifications and things of that sort. The only thing I would change is I would make my offer. She didn't offer me any coffee or orange juice. So I would make a download or something that they could do. Or I see your play video, but it kind of blends in. So all right, let's see this video. Oh, this is incredible. Let's look.
Who only had a 9th grade education decided to do something that blew my mind. She showed up as a game changer.
All right, let me stop there. Now, I'll tell you the great thing about that. They come and hear her speak. They got to try you out. Darren had a great video. Perfect. That's what you need. They on your site, you better show them how you speak. Darren, you had that video there. That is good. Lethea, video there. Great. Only thing I think kind of blends in. You see what I mean? I think it blends in with the logos. But other than that, I would just put a button there offering something for me to download. She got her big buddies to make sure y'all know that she is who she says she is. Testimonial here from Lisa Nichols. Oh, that's a different Lisa. Oh, that's Lisa was on this call.
Nichols.
Lisa was
Yes,
on this
she's in
call with
St.
us.
Louis.
I got her mixed up during that call too. All right. She has her framework here, which is great. Her about page is right here, so they don't have to leave to find out who she is. Great high definition photos with her fancy Apple Watch with the diamonds on it. Another framework. This is nice. More assurance that you're in the right place. Here's her download again, right? Showing her book and her thought leadership. Asking them to take the next level. They can put in information to join the movement and, go from being a visitor to collecting the information, which is good. The only thing, I just need a call to action up here. When you welcome me into the house, just offer me something. Does that make sense? Other than that, Lethea, this looks great. It's black and gold, matches my fraternity, which is even better. So you get a couple bonus points for that. See. Yeah, any other feedback from anyone else? I mean,
I got a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, just really quick from Lethea, it's great, as Ron mentioned, just adding maybe a check availability at the top can be a good choice.
What is it? I didn't hear that word, Juliana.
That check availability button, because she has the check availability down in the button.
Which one? This here?
There, yeah. I
Okay.
like the check availability button because it gives her that sense of exclusivity, and she also has that Rolex Apple Watch going on. Like, it's a gold personal brand, so it's establishing that authority. I think is great.
I think that's
great work here.
I think that's great advice. Let me tell you why I'm a big believer in offering the coffee up front. Have you ever gone to someone's website before, checked them out, and then forgot about it and never came back? Is that your fault or the web designer's fault? It's because they didn't capture the person's information. So I'm a firm believer. I need to give you something in exchange, even if it's one of your older books, Lethea, that you've written, that you're like, look, this book, I ain't really selling a lot of them, but I got the PDF. It ain't the one that you're promoting right now, but they could download maybe a PDF of your framework that you had, like a PDF of that framework. Because I got to get their email address.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't get their email address, I can't follow up with them. And that's really what that offering the Coca-Cola up front is it's selfishly so you can get their email address, because people forget which pages they've gone to. And this way you can start building your email list, even if they're not ready to buy from you or book you right now. Is that fair? I just don't want to run the risk of them having to go all the way to the bottom. Right.
I'm glad you said that, because we are working on our lead magnet for the homepage, but I would not have put it up at the top. So that is very good feedback, because I would put it a little bit further down after I feel like I've kind of gotten their attention and help them to see that we're a match. So right at the very beginning in the hero section, I see if I've captured their attention in the hero section, go ahead and offer them something immediately. So that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I mean, if you look at the best out there, we can go look at a lot of the best ones, right? So if we go to Brendan, I think it's Brendan.com, or maybe I spelled his name wrong. Here it is, right? So you can see Brendan Burchard is here. He has his video. He gonna hit you with all of the stuff. But what did he ask you for right at the top? Right off the bat, he said, look, join my newsletter. I ain't gonna take it for granted you're gonna go down to the bottom, right? If we go to Lewis House, right? Lewis has his video there. What do you do to his web? Okay, there it is. It's working a little better now. So he has his thing. He's offering tickets. There's his video. But right off the bat, he said, look, text me. You notice they're not waiting until they earn your respect. They already found your page. They respect you. Right? They found you through a podcast. They already know who you are. How many of y'all just ever been online like, man, I think I'm just going to go to random speakers' pages? Nobody do that. They came to your page with a purpose. But the only difference is we don't know that they're there. So we got to be able to capture that information. Is that fair? You see how those guys, they did it right off the bat, and they're famous. So definitely our anonymous behinds need to be capturing that information, you know? So, but no, great visuals, great photos, very to the point. Let me just
I had a quick question.
Yep, go ahead.
I guess for Lethea and the team, like, all right, so I'm an immersion speaker. And so how do I maximize what I have to be able to take the next step to get to where she is or someone like that? You know what I'm saying?
So very, very basic things, right? Now, I'm gonna show you my site, right? Because I think you have more speaking experience than I have.
Ron?
Yep, go ahead.
Can I share with you a link real quick? I would love for people to be able to see my first website from 2005.
That's what I needed to see right there.
Yeah, let me show you 2005. Because I started at the bottom, now I'm here. And people need to understand that
cue the music.
It don't happen overnight, right? So it's a process. And so use what you have where you are. So I'm gonna put this I'm gonna send it to just you, Ron, so you can bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then everyone else, you can bring it up on your page, but I'm gonna bring it up here too. But so I want to share something.
There it is.
Yep, I see it here. I just clicked on it. Lethea using the wave.
First, y'all gotta promise not to laugh. Now, y'all don't y'all hold this against me.
we all start somewhere.
Wait a minute. Yeah, don't laugh.
That was 19 years ago. I just celebrated my 19th year anniversary. So
hey, high five, man. But hey, look, it's come a long way.
It has.
I mean, when y'all see this, it's come a long way. I'm like, I don't know if we really want to show this, man. But here it is. This is Lee's original.
That's growth.
Come a long way. Long way.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
What you holding?
I don't know. People would see me in the grocery store.
Somebody photoshopped the baby out of your hands. It's like you was holding a baby, but they photoshopped.
All my friends would pick at me and my bad hair. Oh my gosh. I'm like, I didn't have no friends. I have no friends.
But here's the thing.
But I made over $85,000 from this bad website.
Exactly. You used what you had, but you collected email addresses. Mm-hmm. You stated what you help people to do, right? This is when you lived in St. Charles, right?
Yeah.
You had our little quote there. Hey, look, man, it's progress.
Yeah.
So let me show you something really simple, right? So I'll use my site as something really simple, right? So got my logo in the corner, the basics of what I help people to do. Hey, look, quit taking life so serious. Maybe my businesses can help you because I'm not a speaker. So I'm just telling people about what I do. And then I got my call to action right there, very clear. But then underneath, since I don't have speaking gigs, what did I put? My podcast. Because I ain't a speaker. But I put my podcast there so that people can know, okay, at least some people care about them, right? And then there's my basic bio. And then I offer them, hey, look, here's how I can help you. You can learn from my experiences, decide if you want my help, and work with me. And these are my companies here, right? I probably should update this to SpeakerHub, right? But at the time, this was my stuff. Or learn from me for free. Just book a call. Right? So the only difference is instead of speaking gigs, I had to put podcasts because I didn't have any speaking gigs. But it's the same principles. You see, not a lot, but it's enough to let the person know, well, look, I can follow him on social. I can check out the companies he owns. Or I can just set up a meeting. They didn't get to my page by mistake, is the point I'm making. By the time you go to ronstoryjr.com, you done already heard me on a podcast. Somebody done already told you, check out Ron. They done already sold me to you. It's not like, websites are not like billboards. When you're driving down the expressway and you see that Chick-fil-A billboard, you be like, man, I'm gonna go get some of them new nasty fries they made. We're gonna try out they new coated fries, right? You see that billboard and it makes you go somewhere, but that's not how the internet works. When you're typing in someone's webpage, you don't see billboards for other websites. So somebody comes to your site, they're there on purpose. So when they get there, give them what they expect, but capture their information. Speaker Insight is going to help. For those that are in our lifetime plan, in the beta, you will get access to Speaker Insight so that we'll put a little piece of code in your site that you won't see, nobody will see. And every time someone visits, we will send you their LinkedIn. You notice there's no way for them to log into the site, but we will send you the LinkedIn of that person that visited your site if they're in the US. That's huge, especially since we know nobody came to your site by mistake. If they're coming to DarrenFranklin.com, it's because they're an event planner, or they heard about Darren, or they heard him on a podcast, they heard his call to action someplace. They're there on purpose, so we want you to be able to connect with them, even if they don't take your cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think that's happening because I can see people coming, but somewhere I'm not getting able to make the next step to maybe had a contact. So I'll change that.
Yeah. So the main thing I would do, Darren, is invest the $50 in an interior designer or website designer, as I like to say, right? Just get them to just redesign how it should be set up, because these are basic things, right? You notice there were no complicated slides and all of that stuff. It was just basic stuff that you want to work. Any other questions or feedback? But Lethea, your first site was great for 1985 when speakers didn't even have websites. You know, it's like it's like us expecting Moses to have the 10 Commandments on a website. He had to write them on a rock because it was the first paper that they had. So you had one of the first websites that was out. So high five for having one. You know, that website probably cost $10,000 back in '93 to get built. Any other questions or feedback?
Ron, when you speak, and Juliana, about the content on the site, so we talked about layout and pictures, but what do you write? How much is too much?
Yep. So let me go back to my presentation here, right? So in here, we talk about what types of content you should have, right? So the guest room, those are the content pages that are at your house, right? So you may have a page that talks about your framework. You may have a page that gives them access. It's like a door to the backyard that gives them access to your blog posts and things of that sort, right? But you don't want to have too much stuff. Let me give you the best example. Darren, when I knock on your door and you invite me in your house, do you want me just rambling around looking in all your closets and stuff?
No, that don't work like that.
Exactly. You're going to say, hey, man, sit your butt on this couch and be respectful of my house. It's the same attitude with a website. You don't want people just rambling around to different places. You want them to go where you want them to go so that you can help them best. Does that make sense? So that's why that call to action and all of those things are important. How do you get someone back to your website? When you capture their information at the beginning, now they're on your newsletter and you send them back to the blog post. When you send out your newsletter, that's how they go back. They become more familiar with you. Does that make sense? Juliana, go ahead.
Yeah, just really quick. Something I also wanted to very quickly mention is that Lethea also has a great sense of her personal brand. So I'll just sit here really quick about that, but it's great when you have a color palette and a messaging that it all aligns, right? So if she can share how that process was for her, I think that it would be amazing. And just before we say goodbye on our call today, if you have the time to sit down today before we meet again tomorrow and write down, each one of you, 3 values that matter the most to you, I think that's a great exercise, because for those of you who are still working on their visuals and their personal brand development, it's always great to have those 3 words that align your messaging and align your design. And when you work with a designer, you tell them those 3 words, and that'll help them a lot to build it much better. So that was my comment.
Cool. So I'm going to show you a quick trick. I think that what she's saying is spot on. And here's an easy way to do it, so that, let's go back to Darren, DarrenFranklin.com, and let's see.
Learn by being able to do things and perform with action.
All right.
Some of us learn by
Pause
seeing.
this here. Uh-oh. There we go. I'm going to come down to this one.
Good evening, guys. How y'all doing? Good. Man,
All right. So I'm going to open it. Boom. Cool. 1 second. And I'm going to go and I'm going to summarize this with ChatGPT. Right. So give it a couple seconds. It's going to summarize his speech that he just gave. Right. And use, let's see. What you're going to learn is, after it does the summary of his speech, it's usually going to cover his frameworks and what he talks about. I'm going to ask it to to give me the website copy for his website. So let's do this, and this will be our last thing for the day. So all I did was took the transcript of one of his speeches and outlined it, right? So I want to make a website for Darren based on the a speaker website. See it for Darren based on the topics covered in this speech. Give me the website copy in slide form so that I know what to put in the hero sections, etc. Boom, right? So now let's see what it does. So it's going to take a speech that he's written, which is probably his signature talk, which is why he has it on his page. And now it's going to give me the copy for the web page, right? So let's see what happens.
You offering them hacks today, man.
Boom. Earn while you learn. Empowerment through experience. Meet Darren, Coach Franklin. Coach Franklin. Dude, this is it. There's your button. Book me now. You see this? These are the different sections of your webpage. Let it finish doing what it's doing. It's going to keep writing it out here. Or did I break it? I think I broke it. Thinking about it for 19 seconds. What? Hold on. Let me redo this, but with a different version, because I think this 01 model is way too complicated. ChatGPT 4 is, yeah, here we go. All right, let's redo this. Right? So, but this is what you want to do. You see how it automatically gave me the slides? Here we go. So much better. Right? So here's everything you need on the website. He gave me the footer and everything really quickly. Right at the beginning is going to start off with Earn While You Learn, Empowering Journey with Darren Franklin, a button that tells me to book him and learn more. The background image should be a high energy photo of Darren speaking at an event, just like Juliana recommended. And then you should have some basic taglines. And here's what you should put across in the menu, right? And then on the about section, here's Darren. You remember Lethea had that one with her where it explained her, and then I had the same about section. There it is with the key points that need to be in your bullet points on the right. And then Talked about your framework, just like Lethea had. She has her framework. Next. Your key topics, using your dash metaphor, one of your other frameworks, other inspiring stories or whatever, your testimonials. There it is, right? There's your footer, what should be at the bottom, how they can book you. All of that is there. Does this make sense, Darren?
Yeah, I'm about to do that right now.
Right? So everyone can do this. If you want to know what should be on your site, use ChatGPT, okay? Take a transcript of one of your speeches or your signature framework and tell it to give you the copy. You don't have to use all of it, but take the parts. I promise you that this part right here empowering your journey, right? Earn while you learn is better than hi, I'm Darren, creator of the F21 experience. Totally better, right? Totally better, right? So just do that and then adjust the copy. And instead of the big video there, since you have one at the bottom, make a background. You need a background image of you, right? So you can have someone easily, you probably got other photos from that event, you know, because the audio is a bit airy, you can make this, just take a picture of it and put a photo there. But Lethea had a great professional image right here, you know, great image. No, I'm just kidding, Lethea. I'm joking with you about your old site. Let me go to Lethea Owens. Look at her great image here, right? You see how all of those same principles are being shown. The testimonial is there, her framework, her first framework. There's the Meet Lethea. Remember it said about Darren. That's this page, right? Another testimonial. There's her other framework. Same principles that are in that ChatGPT thing. So the key is to say, give me web copy in slide form, because that'll give you the different sections. Each slide will be a different section for the website. Is this helpful, guys? So let's see. I think I have my meeting is with Greg at 1:30. So unless Greg wants to ask his questions publicly, you know, we're gonna have to end the meeting in about 35 seconds. But Greg, good to see you. Good to see you again.
I have a question.
Yep.
We're working on a presentation around publishing a book. Does anyone here not have a book? Greg? Okay, so we have a few people who haven't published. Okay. We're just getting an idea of that.
Cool.
Working on that.
Well, hey guys, this has been another great day, kind of action-packed. Lethea and Darren, thanks for being courageous and subjecting yourself to our criticism. We're here to make everyone better. It's not someone beating you down. You know, we all can get better. There's some things that I realized on my site, some of my buttons don't work, right? So we all can always be refining and improving what we're doing. Melissa, the thing that you mentioned yesterday is in quality assurance right now. The code was pushed.
This meeting is being recorded.
Approved. And so that email name thing should be, hold on, let me see if Ezekiel wrote me back. Yeah, it's waiting on Santiago to approve it, but it's already fixed. It's just not live yet. But if y'all have no other questions, I will catch up with y'all tomorrow.